In a theater, Poison Ivy is introduced dancing with a mysterious man lurking in the shadows, watching her. After her dancing number, she gets out of the theater and starts walking home through the dark, misty Victorian-era Gotham streets. Suddenly she starts to feel like she's being followed. She starts running, then a tall, beefy, huge man gets in her way. She plays it smart and tries to seduce him, but the man still reveals he has a knife and is planning to hurt her. Meanwhile, some street kids harass some citizens, but luckily Batman shows up. Kids suddenly attack him, but Batman peacefully disarms them. But then their handler shows up out of the shadows while putting his brass knuckles on. So Batman isn't peaceful anymore and brutally knocks him out for using children. Batman tells the children to go to Sister Leslie's church and she will help them, but then they get interrupted by a scream. So Batman goes to check it out, only to find out a woman got murdered by some sort of a serial killer. This woman is Poison Ivy. The next day, we get introduced by the mayor to Gotham's new city fair. As the citizens enter happily, the mayor shows off a signal that looks very, very familiar, and seems like it will have a connection later in the movie with the so-called Batman. Selina Kyle interrupts the fair by saying the mayor can't provide safety for the women at night from this notorious killer. Sister Leslie interrupts and gives him the name of Jack the Ripper, and when one of the cops mentions Batman, all the blame seem to be pointing towards him. Suddenly, Bruce Wayne shows up to see the new city fair and where his money seems to be going towards. Bruce hugs the nun and proceeds to escort her to his carriage. They ride together with Jim Gordon and discuss the latest Ripper's kills, and then she reveals that the latest victim is none other than some girl they all knew from the orphanage, so the setting gets dull when the news is heard. Batman lurks in the shadows watching out for Selina, following her through the rooftops. As Selina walks, she senses she's being followed by another man that seems to have the outline of Jack the Ripper. Then she gets cornered in an alleyway by him, but finds a way out through a hole in a wooden door. Batman rushes to the help. The Ripper tries to stab her but fails. Selina takes out her whip and starts to attack back and defend herself, but the Ripper appears to be very quick and dodges all of her attacks and starts choking her. Batman catches up and tries to help her, and a fight breaks out between him and Jack the Ripper. But Jack seems too good a fighter and stands tall against Batman. He knocks down Batman and starts approaching Selina, but not before Batman opens a trapdoor and Jack falls through. Meanwhile, Jim Gordon seems to be getting nightmares about the cold-blooded killer attacking Barbara Gordon. He wakes up and goes to check her out in the kitchen, and she seems fine. She tries to comfort him, and it seems to be working. Then Jim goes out on the porch to drink his coffee, but there stands Batman. They get to talking about the Ripper, with Batman telling Jim that he seems to be trained and not just a typical brawler. Batman asks for Gordon's help and he agrees. Back at Wayne Manor, Bruce reads a letter that Gordon gave him that was sent to the newspaper by Jack the Ripper, deducing nothing. Alfred then says that he prepared both the Batsuit and a normal tuxedo for Master Bruce. In the theater, Bruce and Harvey watch the show in which Selina Kyle seems to be performing, and they both seem to have a thing for her.
Wink, wink.
The three of them walk through town while discussing the news about Jack the Ripper. They arrive at a club for men only, but Bruce is able to let Selina in anyways. She tells him that she knows that he looks at her as if he's studying her. Bruce then gets an epiphany and quickly leaves. Meanwhile, Sister Leslie feels like she's being followed. She starts to pray, and the Ripper seems to be standing behind her. She says she is not scared, and she won't beg, but that she forgives him. He proceeds to stab her to death. Alfred goes to check Master Bruce's room, on to find him not being there, so he assumes he's in the Batcave. He goes there, and sees him checking a pin from the men's-only club that he found at Sister Leslie's place of death. He says that he could try and figure out a fingerprint, but Alfred says the police will probably not accept it. The tension and sadness can be felt in the room because of Sister Leslie's death. Bruce decides to go pay his respects. The whole town seems to be at the funeral. After it, Hugo Strange approaches Bruce to ask for a meeting with the Batman because he assumes Bruce Wayne knows everyone in town. When suddenly, a mysterious old lady says she saw Bruce at Sister Leslie's scene of death yesterday and starts asking for money, then yelling when Bruce doesn't pay her. The police come and escort her away. Later, a mysterious man goes to see Hugo Strange, and he presumes it's the Batman, but turns out it's not when the man approaches him with a knife to try to kill him. Meanwhile, Batman arrives and follows the screams of Hugo Strange to him getting thrown in a pit with all of Hugo's patients in. All the patients run towards Hugo to hurt him. Batman, on the other hand, is seen by Hugo's assistants who think he did this and sound off all the alarms. So Batman starts to run. We soon find out he's running after Jack the Ripper too. He throws his grapple gun to the top of an air balloon, then gets in it by breaking the window, only to find out Jack the Ripper is already there. They keep fighting until the Ripper slashes Batman's abdomen and throws him out the window, but Batman pulls him with him. Their shadows keep chasing each other over the rooftops of Gotham until both the Ripper and Batman jump on the air balloon again and continue the fight, and it looks like the air balloon is about to crash. The police arrive on the scene and start shooting at both Batman and the Ripper until the balloon crashes into flames. Batman opens his eyes to see the Ripper staring at him. The police arrive and start chasing Batman while shooting at him, but Jim Gordon stops them and tells them he wants him alive. Batman takes off his cowl in an alleyway and tries to escape until he's rescued by Selina Kyle in a carriage. She seems to have figured out his identity but still helps him escape. In the gutters, the policemen find the body of the old crazy lady that hackled Bruce Wayne in the cemetery. The next day, Bruce Wayne and Selina catch up, and she asks about Batman's origin story. Before Bruce utters a word, she figures it's about his parents. But before the conversation goes any longer, the police break the door and arrest Bruce for the murder of the lady they found in the gutters. Harvey Dent tries to prosecute Bruce in the court of law, and the judge denies him bail. Bruce is then sentenced to go to Blackgate Prison awaiting trial. Upon entering the prison, Bruce gets harassed by both the guards and the inmates. In jail, Selina pays Bruce a visit, and Bruce tells her that he thinks he's being framed. But unfortunately, Bruce has no alibis due to his nightlife. She suggests he tells Jim Gordon about his true identity, and threatens that if he doesn't, she will, and leaves. Before Bruce goes to the jail's playground, he offers $200 to the guard if he delivers a message to Alfred. The guard agrees. In the prison's playground, Bruce gets into a fight, and all of a sudden, everyone in prison is in the fight. Bruce escapes and takes a horse to run away. Meanwhile, Selina goes to meet up with Jim Gordon, but he's not at the station. Meanwhile, the three little kiddos who Bruce helped escape the life of crime delivered a box to Batman. Selina goes to City Hall to look for Jim Gordon, while Batman shows up at his house searching for him. Stopped by his wife asking why he's here, he says that he's just looking for him, but then gets the urge to enter his room, only to find out tools used by the Ripper are in there, and trophies from his victims appear to be showing in jars. Barbara seems to have known all along. She tries to slam Batman on the head with a glass jar, but Batman counters the attack. He then asks about Jim's whereabouts, but gets no answer. Jim seems to have hit and burned her face before. Meanwhile, Selina seems to be Jim's next victim. Jim drugs her, but Selina manages to escape. Meanwhile, Batman is on his way to help her, while she hides from Jim. And look at that, she makes a bat signal using her own blood. Told you it will come up, right? She shines the light up in the sky, and Batman sees it and seems to be on his way to her. Jim, or should we say Jack, finds Selina and grabs her while yapping about cleansing the world from scum like her. Batman shows up and a fight breaks out. Jim gets out a knife and starts swinging at Batman, but he counters his attack and throws him away, and goes to check upon Selina, but Jim Gordon grabs him from his back and throws him away. Jim follows and the fight continues. Jim tries to choke Batman, but he escapes. The fight keeps going with flames being everywhere. Jim handcuffs Bruce to himself, and the fight keeps going. Batman seems to have escaped the handcuffs and instead cuffed Jim near the Ferris wheel. Suddenly, Jim walks backwards into the fire. Batman couldn't save him. Alfred then comes and picks up Batman and Selina. The city fair burns to the ground, but there's still hope for Gotham, and everything will be rebuilt again. Gotham by Gaslight is a DC Comics comic and movie written by Brian Augustyn and Mike Mignola. The story revolves around a 19th century version of Bruce Wayne making his debut as Batman, just as Jack the Ripper has arrived in Gotham City. Do you think the world's greatest detective could have caught Jack the Ripper? Do you think Batman's ways would have been different if he was born in a Victorian-era Gotham? Well, this brings us to the end of today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this one. Your support helps us grow. Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. And if you're watching till now, thank you. I'll see you in another video soon.